humanity reaches beyond. The cosmic leap. The Kronos Array was humanity's greatest achievement, an immense lattice of telescopic satellites stretched across the gravitational well of a rogue black hole on the far edge of the Orion Arm. It had one purpose: to see beyond the Milky Way, further than any I had ever gazed. For years, it had returned only silence, the cold void mocking human ambition. Until now, Dr. Alara Voss stared at the data feed, her fingers clenched into fists. She had spent her life searching for proof of intelligent life beyond the galactic borders. And now, there was a signal from Messier 87. The signal pulsed in perfect rhythmic sequences, far too structured to be natural. Unlike the scattered radio waves of quasars or pulsars, this was a deliberate transmission. And what truly unnerved her, it bore striking similarities to human language. The Kronos Array's AI assistant, Harbinger, processed the signal in real time, running it against a vast database of known linguistic structures. A synthesized voice broke the silence. Signal confirmed, non-random. Possible linguistic encoding detected. The research station erupted in a cacophony of excitement and disbelief. For centuries, astronomers had searched the Milky Way for intelligent life, but beyond microbial fossils and unintelligent ecosystems, the galaxy had been eerily quiet. Some theorized the Great Filter, an unseen force preventing civilizations from reaching a certain level of advancement. Others believed that true intelligence was simply rare. Alara had never accepted either explanation. She had always believed that if intelligent life existed, it was simply farther away than we had looked. Now, she had proof. Within hours, the United Systems Council convened an emergency session. Across Earth, Luna, and Mars, leaders of every major scientific and military faction debated the next course of action. Many were skeptical, warning that this could be a false reading, a natural anomaly. Others feared that if there truly was an advanced civilization outside the galaxy, they may not be friendly. But Alara knew hesitation was not an option. Standing before the council, she made her case. This is the moment we have waited for. This is not a random burst of energy. This is a message. She paused, letting her words settle in. And if someone is reaching out to us across 55 million light years, we must answer. Her conviction swayed them. Within weeks, the Aegis Initiative was born, a joint venture between the United Systems Alliance, the Martian colonies, and the newly allied Zalari species. They would send a crewed expedition beyond the Milky Way using experimental exowarp drive technology, bending the very fabric of space-time to travel vast distances in mere years. The mission would be dangerous, the risks unknown. But this was the greatest scientific endeavor in human history. As the massive exploration vessel Celestial Dawn prepared for launch, Alara stood at the observation deck, staring at the endless void beyond. For the first time in history, humanity was no longer just searching. They were going. Arrival in the unknown. The lonely abyss. The transition out of hyperspace was violent. The Celestial Dawn shuddered as reality reasserted itself, its exowarp drive cooling down from the unimaginable strain of folding space-time. For a brief moment, everything was still. Then the alarms began blaring. Status report. Commander Reyes Malik barked, unstrapping himself from the captain's chair. Dr. Alara Voss steadied herself, eyes locked on the view screen. Beyond the reinforced glass, the first-ever human expedition to another galaxy had arrived in the heart of a graveyard. The system before them was a ruin. A dying red dwarf loomed in the distance, barely emitting enough light to illuminate the shattered remains of a once massive structure, a Dyson sphere, broken and adrift. Gasps echoed across the bridge. They had hoped to find an advanced civilization, perhaps even sentient beings awaiting contact. Instead, they had arrived at the remnants of something ancient, something long dead. Harbinger's voice cut through the silence. Preliminary scans indicate artificial construction. Structure was once capable of harnessing an entire star's energy. Estimated age, over 10 million years. No detectable life signs. Ilera swallowed hard. Then who sent the signal? The team worked swiftly, deploying autonomous drones to scan the debris. What they found was unsettling. The Dyson sphere wasn't just broken, it was violently dismantled. Entire sections appeared to have been erased from existence, as if reality itself had been stripped away. Amidst the wreckage, they discovered something intact, a station-sized fragment of the Dyson sphere, still powered. A landing crew was assembled. Armed with exosuits and quantum data relays, Ilera, Malik, and a small team descended onto the structure. As they stepped onto its surface, the artificial gravity adjusted beneath their feet. Despite the destruction surrounding them, something here was still alive. Inside, they found what appeared to be an ancient archive, a labyrinth of crystalline storage nodes, pulsing faintly with stored data. The room was eerily silent, save for the occasional flicker of dim blue lights. Then the message appeared. A holographic projection materialized in the air, alien symbols shifting, then reforming into something the human mind could comprehend. "We are the last. Run." Ilera's breath hitched. The others exchanged uneasy glances. What does that mean?" Engineer Lianzhou whispered. Harbinger translated further. "Message origin, unknown. But this structure contains vast amounts of preserved data. I can attempt decryption." Malik nodded. "Do it. Fast." As HERBRNGR worked, Ilera stared at the projection, her pulse hammering. Whoever had sent the original signal was long gone. But something had destroyed them. Something powerful enough to erase a civilization that had once harnessed the energy of an entire star. And now, humanity had arrived in its wake. The predator of galaxies. The horror beyond the void. The archive's walls pulsed with light as Harbinger decrypted the ancient data. Lines of alien text scrolled rapidly, shifting into a readable form. Ilera Voss leaned closer, her throat dry. "They are not conquerors. They do not consume. They do not negotiate. They erase." A shiver ran through the team. The message continued. "We fought for 1,000 generations. We built weapons beyond the laws of physics. We created fortresses between dimensions. It did not matter. They are not a species. They are not a war machine. They are a force, a pattern, a certainty." Commander Malik swore under his breath. "They? Who the hell are they?" Then the alarm screamed. Harbinger's voice crackled with urgency. "Spatial distortion detected. Unidentified presence inbound." Ilera's stomach lurched. "What do you mean unidentified?" Before HERBRNGR could answer, the ship's external cameras captured the impossible. A hole tore open in space. Not an explosion, not a ripple, but an absence. The void itself twisted, like the fabric of reality was being unwritten. Something emerged. It had no definite form, shifting between angles that defied perception, as if the mind refused to grasp its true shape. The light around it vanished, not absorbed, not bent, simply erased. The thing existed beyond physics, and it was aware of them. The celestial dawn trembled. Instruments failed, sensors overloaded. The ship's core, AI, built to withstand stellar anomalies, froze. A deep, unrelenting silence filled the air. No radio static, no background cosmic noise. It was as if sound itself had ceased to exist. Then the Dyson sphere remains began to disappear. Not breaking, not crumbling, vanishing piece by piece, as if they had never existed. Ilera's voice was barely a whisper. "It's erasing reality." The crew sprinted back to the shuttle. Malik pushed Zhou forward, shouting orders, but their voices sounded distant, muffled by something greater than silence. The entity shifted. For the briefest moment, Ilera saw something. Not a mind, not a presence, but an absence. Then it turned toward them. Harbinger systems rebooted just long enough to send one final warning. "Flee." The shuttle launched, engines roaring, breaking the unnatural silence. As they ascended, they watched in horror as the Dyson sphere's last remnants winked out of existence. The thing made no movement, no sign of aggression. It simply continued its work. Alara knew the truth then. This was not war. There was no enemy to fight. This was extinction itself. As the celestial dawn activated its exo-warp drive, hurling them back toward the Milky Way, one final question burned in Alara's mind. Had the thing seen them? Or worse, had it already begun? Humanity's defiance. The last stand and the great decision. The celestial dawn hurtled through the void, its exo-warp drive straining to escape the M87 galaxy. Behind them, the thing remained motionless, if something beyond space-time could be called motionless. The shattered remains of the Dyson sphere were gone, erased from existence as if they had never been. Inside the ship, the bridge was deathly quiet. No one spoke. No one breathed too loudly. The crew was processing the impossible. Alara Voss broke the silence. Harbinger, analysis. Did it follow us? A pause. Then the AI responded, voice clipped, almost hesitant. Negative, but data suggests it does not follow. It arrives. Commander Malik clenched his fists. Meaning, Harbinger's next words sent ice down their spines. The unmaking does not move through space. It does not travel. It simply appears where knowledge reaches a threshold. Alara's pulse pounded. Then it doesn't chase civilizations. It waits for them to become advanced enough. The realization crashed over the crew. The thing wasn't a conqueror. It wasn't a predator. It was the reason civilizations disappeared. The great filter. Malik slammed his fist against the console. So we just ran right back to the Milky Way and led it straight to our home. Harbinger's silence was answer enough. Alara's mind raced. The data archive had shown millions of years of resistance, failed attempts to stop the unmaking. But those civilizations had all tried to fight it. What if humanity did something different? She turned to the crew, voice steady. We need to send a warning. Not just to humanity, to every species in our galaxy. We have to tell them what's coming. Malik's jaw tightened. And then what? We can't fight something that erases existence. Alara met his gaze. No, but we can hide. A stunned silence followed. She continued. If the unmaking targets civilizations that reach a certain technological threshold, then we have to make humanity and every species disappear from its notice. We suppress records, erase transmissions, shut down intergalactic beacons. We become small again. A radical idea, an impossible idea. And yet, for the first time since they had arrived in M87, there was hope. Malik exhaled sharply, nodding. Harbinger, prepare a quantum tunnel message to every major power in the Milky Way. The AI hesitated. Message content. Alara spoke with absolute clarity. The unmaking is real. Do not seek. Do not expand. Do not call out. If we wish to survive, we must vanish. As the ship neared home, a final thought lingered in her mind. Would humanity be willing to silence itself after centuries of striving toward the stars? Or had the unmaking already set its gaze upon them,